Hi everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your free update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP. In today's video, I'm going to focus on what I expect from these markets for next week for you. And I'm sorry my video is a little bit later today, but I just had to go over to the east coast of Barbados to surf Soup Bowl today. It was so clean, super glassy, beautiful, just a bit overhead. Fast, steep, peeling waves over that reef with that clear water. Oh, it was so good. I've had some vitamin C, fresh air, sunshine and exercise, so now I am refreshed and ready to get into some analysis. I'm going to identify for you a reverse head and shoulders here on Bitcoin. Here's the head. Here's the right-hand shoulder, left-hand shoulder, the troughs between the heads and the head and each shoulder. This is where you draw a neckline. I see a lot of people trying to identify head and shoulders patterns online on charts, and they don't draw the neckline right. You've got to be actually pretty specific. You have to draw it specifically from the troughs or the peaks between the shoulder and the head on either side. Head, shoulder, here's the peak, and here's the peak. So you have to draw it from this high to this high. The steeper the slope of the neckline, the lower the technical significance. This one has a fairly shallow slope, so this is pretty good. It has a good technical significance, and this neckline is showing pretty much exactly where price is finding resistance yesterday and today, and there's a good strong area of resistance about 27,400. What I expect to see next week for Bitcoin is a break above resistance and then a move up and away, and I expect that next move up and away to end either just below 29,000 because there's pretty strong resistance in that area, or 29,750, which is the target calculated from the head and shoulders pattern. To calculate a target from head and shoulders, you take the distance from the head to the trough, and then you take that distance and you add it for a bullish case. For a bearish, obviously subtract to the breakout point. In order for a head and shoulders, reverse head and shoulders, for us to have confidence in the target that results from the pattern, we need to see a close above the resistance line, the neckline, and it has to come on an upward session with push from volume. For upward movement, you do need to see push from volume for confidence in the breakout. Downward movement, not so much, because price can fall of its own weight for quite a way and quite a while. But for the upward movement, in this case, we want a green session closing above this line with push from volume. So if we see that early next week, here are your targets, just below 29,000 or 29,750. Really good to see yesterday's session for Bitcoin did result in a nice increase in volume, stronger than all these sessions, even stronger than this session. Overall, as price is moving overall sideways, volume is still declining, but for the short term, we're now seeing some push from volume, which is very good to see for the bullish case. It does look like we're probably going to get a breakout above that neckline of the head and shoulders pattern, but for the short term, for this current session, it's absolutely normal behavior to see a little red candlestick, a little pause at resistance before price finds the energy to break through. ADX is now increasing. It's at a low level, but it's below 15, so no clear trend. The positive DX line is currently above the negative, so if ADX can reach 15, it will be giving us a very strong bullish signal. We are not there yet though, and like I've been saying all week, I'm watching this one really carefully. It is setting itself up for a really strong signal. We may get that next week. On balance, volume gave us a bullish signal, a very weak one though, with a break above resistance. That may well now be resolved. It's been followed by some upward movement, so now we await on balance volume to form a new range, draw new resistance and support, and wait for the next signal. This is a really good way to use on balance volume because sometimes the signal comes before a strong downward move like it did back here. We got the signal on the 15th of August, and it was on the 16th of August that price had a really strong downward session. So that was a great signal here, and that's why I like to use on balance volume like this. But the problem with it is it doesn't tell you two things. It tells you the most likely direction of the breakout, but it doesn't tell you how far price is going to travel or for how long price is going to continue in that direction. So it'll give you direction, but not how far and how long. So still helpful, really good way to use on-balance volume. ATR overall is declining. This is actually pretty normal around lows for Bitcoin, so not a great concern for a bullish case, and I still have confidence that the low of November 2020, I've got a lot of confidence in that low being sustained, and now some reasonable confidence in the 11th of September as well. Real quick for Ethereum on the daily chart, it has now got a nice breach of this channel that contains minute wave C of this zigzag for minor wave 2, and price has found good support and is bouncing up off the lower edge of this channel, which I've copied over from my weekly chart. To see weekly and monthly Elliott Wave counts for Ethereum and XRP, click through my channel and look at yesterday's video. I covered that with a bit of detail yesterday, so I shan't go over it again today. Now we've got a full daily candlestick above and not touching this trend line. That meets my conservative definition of a channel breach. I now have some confidence. Minor 2 is likely to be over. Minor 3 is likely to be underway. In fact, so much confidence, I think I'll pull the invalidation point up to here. Within minor wave 3, there is minute wave 2 to come, and it may not move beyond the start of minute 1 below 1531.48. I wouldn't expect price to get that close though. I'd expect continuing support at the lower edge of this channel. On the daily chart, technicals for Ethereum, we see the same channel, we see the same breach, and it's really nice to see so far today price is moving above this next area of resistance at 1670. A little bit of a longer upper wick developing, but there's still a few hours to go for this session, so we don't know how it's going to close yet. I'm not going to draw a head and shoulders pattern for Ethereum. This would be the head, shoulder, shoulder area, trough, trough, because the trend line would be, it would just have too steep a slope for any good technical significance. So I'm just going to use resistance above as ideas for where price is likely to halt and find pullbacks or consolidations. Really good to see yesterday's session closes with very strong push from volume. This volume is stronger than all of these sessions right back to about the 16th of August, that strong downward movement. So this is the strongest volume we see up off the low. This is really good strength off that low. This is very bullish for Ethereum. On balance volume for Ethereum is at resistance. I'm really careful in how I draw my trend lines perfectly from this peak to this peak. I've drawn it, and on balance volume is hitting resistance, but this is yesterday. We don't have today's data, and if today closes green, then on balance volume is going to break above resistance. That will be a bullish signal, but the bullish signal will be weak because the line only has the minimum required 2 anchor points. You need to draw a line. It's not long held, and it's got quite a steep slope, so those things reduce its technical significance. It would be a bullish signal, but a rather weak one. ADX is declining. There's no clear trend for Ethereum at this time frame, and volatility continues overall to decline. So this market, typical of cryptocurrencies around their lows, is exhibiting some weakness, but it's very, very good to see that strength from volume today for Ethereum. So given that strength from volume, I expect next week, if we can close above 1670 today, then I expect maybe another pullback or consolidation about 1716 as price moves higher, and then above that, pretty strong resistance at 1800. I will maybe expect resistance about 1716, but quite definitely I'll be expecting resistance at 1800 for a pullback or consolidation there. XRP, it's good to see, is starting to move up with some strength today. On the daily chart, the wave count for XRP has a minor degree first wave within intermediate 3, within primary 3, within cycle 3. So again, go back to yesterday's analysis to look at weekly and monthly charts. My wave counts for XRP and Ethereum are very bullish. I have some targets there for you as well. Off this low, which I expect is now very likely to be sustained, I have a first wave up here, a second wave deep correction, another 1, 2. So now moving up with a bit of strength into a third wave, within a third wave, within a first wave. On the way up, these are my confidence points. As each of these points is passed, I will have further confidence in this analysis. Because the channel around intermediate wave 2 has been breached, I've moved the invalidation point for XRP up to 0.4456. On the daily chart, technicals for XRP, I've been saying for a while there's pretty strong resistance at 55 cents, and so far that's the high for the session. Let's see how the session can close. It's so far got push from volume, which is really good to see. If it can close above 55 cents, then next week I'll expect early next week a continuation of upward movement to 62 cents. But if price does not close above 55 cents today, then we might see a red candlestick, one or two, early next week for a little pullback or consolidation before a breakthrough of resistance. So when we break through here, next resistance at 62 cents for next week. And if it can break through there next week, the next resistance is above about 82 cents. There's a little bit of open space there. Really good to see yesterday XRP having strong push from volume, and this volume is stronger than all of these sessions all the way back to, I think, the session of the 18th of July. So that is really bullish for XRP for the short term. Yesterday I had this breach of support from on-balance volume for XRP, but today it's moved back above that line. So that line now has less technical significance, so we redraw it to sit across these two little pivot lows. So XRP for on-balance volume is in a little range. There's no new signal. ADX is declining. There's no clear trend. And ATR is pretty much dead for XRP. So there's a bit of strength in volume, and I expect that's possibly going to start to flow through to see an increase in range in the next few weeks for XRP. That's it from me today with your quick update for those three markets. I hope everyone is looking forward to a fabulous weekend. And if anyone's in Barbados, I'll see you at Soup Bowl because I'll be there again tomorrow morning. Thanks.